Hello, welcome to our teaching today. This is for our Egyptian Mystery School teaching, as well as those who might be catching it on our YouTube channel later. This is really in regards to the year of the fire horse and the ending of the year of the wood snake. And there's some really major energy that's shifting right now. It has been just a wild ride as we are on that very tail end of that snake. And some massive shifts have happened with lots of us that are in our tribe. And massive shifts have happened with us across the planet. And one of the really beautiful things that happened that I really just want to focus on sharing right now is that Takata and I were sitting after a beautiful day of doing our dharma, and we sat in the hot tub, and this was about Thursday, I think, right before the year of the snake ended, which is just, we're at that cusp right now as we record this. And we were sitting with a beautiful plant teacher. I'm going to talk about the plant teacher.
Bobinsana. So I've heard beautiful icaros and songs of Bobinsana, but had never actually sat with the plant itself specifically on its own. And
one of our vendors, our consignment artists at our shop, and we have a metaphysical shop, for those of y'all that didn't know, in Austin, Texas, called La Lighthouse. And we had this medicine that was brought to us. And she was going to put it out on the shelf because we've been waiting for it. And so what did she say about Bobinsana?
Bobinsana is the pink flower that looks like feathery.
Yeah, it's very feathery, almost kind of like mimosa-y looking, like a flower. And it's a very much a master plant teacher. A lot of sacred medicine songs are sung about it. It's been used in ceremony for really opening the heart. And so the woman who provides our hape and our sananga for the shop for Tira Pura ancestral medicines said she had made some Bobinsana, and she wanted to have us sit with it as a practice. And then if we liked it, she would bring it into the shop. And she gave me a sample, and it was in a little tincture, and you would just drop it under your tongue. And then she went to go put the medicine out in the shop, but I hadn't yet sat with it. She hadn't yet sat with it. And she was like in inventory mode, getting things done at the shop and everything. And she put it out on the shelf, and I was like, whoa, I don't want to put that out. And she's like, well, it's fine. We've been waiting for it to come in. I was like, well, we haven't sat with it. I haven't sat with it. I totally don't feel comfortable selling something that I haven't sat with myself. And she's like, well, we could just leave it out here and see if it sells. People might know what it is. And I was like, no, I felt really strongly about it. And we kind of like bickered, which we never do. And so you're laughing.
We bickered, a little bickered.
And so it was funny because the medicine was like working, right? And we didn't even know it. And so I put it in my hape bag and I brought it home. And then like 2 days later, I was like, oh, I have the Bobinsana. Let's sit with it while we're sitting here looking at the stars under in the hot tub.
Was it not the same day or the next day?
It was like within a 24-hour period, probably.
Because what came up as we were sitting in the hot tub was the discussion in regards to the bicker.
Right. And I'm like, okay, well, I wanted to clarify what happened. I didn't want to jump you in front of customers or our manager, but I felt really out of integrity putting something on the shelf that I didn't know of personally. And then she was like, I was like, what you say, like I was in inventory mode. I wasn't really
just doing the thing, being, shopkeep, put the things on the shelf, get the pricing,
Yeah, and she wasn't really thinking like, oh, this is a medicine that we need to sit with and before we can talk about it, speak to it, and sell it. And so she pulled it back off the shelf. We left, came back home, and I think we probably sat in the hot tub that day. Can you stop it? And so we ended up having this discussion in the hot tub, circling back. And we circled back around it, and I said, it's funny that we argued because the Bobinsana is a heart opener. And it's funny that, that's like the medicine was already working. And so she, like started to work on our heart. And I said, let's go ahead and plan on just sitting with it then. And she's like, yeah, let's do it right now. So we got the dropper out and put it under our tongue and sat with it. And just closed our eyes, went into a meditation. And as we went into a meditation, we sat and just, brought the vision to the third eye. And I had a really beautiful experience of just seeing.
Excuse me, that's really went down the wrong way.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the sacred geometry and seeing the beauty of the plant. I just felt a really warm feeling, and I felt really it was really mild. I did 10 drops. You can do 3 to 10 drops, and I think she did 6.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a very similar experience. And then it was like we just closed our eyes for the meditation, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, open our eyes, and we saw this massive angel in the cloud. So close. Like it was like right over the hot tub. It wasn't even like far. It was like, and it was the only cloud around. No cloud. It wasn't like a cloudy night before we started the meditation. And it was this huge winged angel. And I was like, oh my goddess. And she's like, I see it. And it immediately morphed into a Pegasus. The legs came out, the mane came out, super detailed, and like not a missing piece to this cloud, and not like a funky or you had to make it out. It was so precise. And she and I were going, oh my God. And then it kept just creeping further and further, closer to right directly above our crown chakra. I have a Pegasus tattoo. Oh yeah. So then it got a horn, and so it became a Unicorn Pegasus. And then it had a silhouette that appeared, Pegacorn, and it had a silhouette that appeared on its back. And it ended up having like the angel as a rider on its back. And we were just tripping, but not tripping, but tripping. Like, this is actually happening. This is not only the Bobinsana, but the fire horse coming in with these clouds. And it stuck around for like probably 10, 15 minutes. Like, it was not a short flyby. It was right there.
Like the image remained as it moved on out of sight.
It stayed in its form. And tell them about where the stars and Jupiter were placed.
We took some photos of it, and they're in the photo is the left front foot of the horse was on Sirius, like standing on Sirius.
So there's the bright star was right there. His hoof was right on it.
And the other leg, the way it was kind of like it was pulled up. So
yeah.
It was like just the 1 foot standing.
It's like it was in mid-stride.
And then the left wing, Jupiter was shining bright.
Right in the center of the left wing. It was so beautiful. And so we just had this beautiful experience with this sacred plant. Highly recommend setting with Bobinsana. I don't know if Bobinsana is going to always show up like that, but I was just flabbergasted, to be honest. And I've never had a cloud person show up in such strong form. Like, the leg was even like super skinny. It wasn't even like a puffy cloud leg. It was like a skinny horse leg. And so that happened. And that was our experience as we moved into this spirit of the fire horse coming in. And it came in through the water, through the form of the clouds. And that was, it was so magical.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you could feel the energy, the shifting that was coming. It was like, we're here. It's time.
So we also have had a outrageous number of requests for ceremony in the last 3 days. I mean, outrageous meaning like normally we'll hold a ceremony once a week here and there, either an extraction healing, a combo session working with the great teacher, the frog teacher, Hape or Sananga, or soul coaching with like a really deep reading. And we have been back to back to back Sunday, Monday, and then now Tuesday. And it's been so powerful. It's kind of like everyone was wanting us to get in and come in, like at that last bit to remove from their field. And one of our sisters here on this call, she was present for one of the extraction healings, and it was a sacred rage session that just came from just the depth of the lineage, and it was so powerful. And she brought her medicine drum. She's interning with us in her shamanic practitioner training, and just the power of 4 medicine women sitting together with intention to clear the ancestral bloodline.
Oh, it was just beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
Rage was released.
Rage was released, and those words needed to be spoken for who knows how many generations.
So much respect and honor for her moving that energy the way she did for all of us.
All of us. And the thing is, when we do this work, when we do this deep healing work, we are not only shifting it for ourselves, we're shifting it for our grandmothers, our aunts, our grandfathers, our bloodline, for those that could not do the work. And those of you that are here live on the call, you absolutely know this already. But we are shifting it in a quantum realm, so that way it basically is like this, explosion, like a mushroom spores, and they all go out into future and past timelines to repair all of the things that had happened that were waiting for the very, very moment for you to show up and do the work. And so, yeah, do you want to say anything about that? And then I want to talk about
just feeling it. It's so profound because we're just rewriting the codes and connecting this grid and all the little karmic loops that are intertwined and woven in the web of life between and amongst individuals, amongst DNA, and just being able to wipe the slate, hit the hard reset button. And while it's not easy, it's not as easy as just
Control Delete.
Yeah, it's not as easy as that, but it's so profound and so beautiful, and the ripple effect that occurs is it's just such an honor to witness it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to see it happening in live action, where someone's literally claiming their power in that very moment, and just to see the power come back. And as the claiming of that power happens, you can also feel how proud our ancestors are for us showing up and doing this work right now, where it's such a critical moment in time. We're moving into this space of the unknown, which we've already been in the Aquarian age and in the space of the unknown and in uncharted territory. But now, as we're really moving into this fire horse, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about here. And we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't. The only thing we can do is we can show up in our highest version, right? And we can show up in our highest self. And so this is where we're at right now, is just showing up.
So true.
So true. Yes, absolutely. And so I want to talk a little bit about like this transitional period, and those of us that are called to walk the beauty way. For those of us that are called in our dharma to walk the sacred path, the shamanic path. For those of you that have been showing up and showing up and showing up in our Egyptian mystery school, all of y'all that have been showing up are on the shamanic path. So I want to be clear that, you're walking in both worlds and you're doing the work. And so thank you. And for those of you that are, catching our channel later, and that are doing the work for yourself, for your bloodline, for your family, for your future generations. This is that ripple that continues forward and backward, and all timelines get corrected and shifted into their proper highest timeline. The thing is, the truth is, there are a separation of timelines happening right now. And those of you that have felt that, drop a yes in the comments, because we can feel it. We can feel it. Yeah, exactly. And we know that the things that are, what did you say?
I feel the split.
Feel the split. And so we're working within about 4 octaves of energy right now. We can go really low and go all the way into that 3D, and we can go really high up into that 7D, and we can vary and move into different variables of those octaves at any given moment. And especially if we're walking with 1 foot in the spirit world and 1 foot in the matrix world, we are navigating, and you have to stay grounded, fully grounded into Mother Earth to navigate that space. It can be very wonky. Time can get very malleable, very strange. Like some days seem to extend so long, and some days are like, wow, I blinked and now it's night again. And you know, so do you want to say anything about the timelines? And then I want to talk about our dharma path.
Nothing is coming for me right this second.
Well, one of the things that I was going to say that about the timeline splitting is that those that are on certain timelines have certain karmas to carry out. And if they haven't paid their karmic debt, they're going to have to continue to carry out that timeline. And there's only so much, so far that we can reach with our own energy to help people without damaging our own karma or entangling ourselves into their story or their projection or their outcome. And so there's kind of this space of protection when we're doing this work, where we are within our own autonomous bubble and we're entering into their energetic field. We're entering into the drum journey, where we may be traveling down into the lower world or working within the middle world and looking at the different timelines, or moving up into the Akashic realm and viewing information for this person. But we are also in this sovereign bubble. So we enter into their field, but we are also protected and autonomous. But also the ones that are carrying out these lower vibrational timelines, human trafficking, genocide, war, famine, all the things that are happening in the world, we can be extremely compassionate and we can hold space for that healing. But as high frequency, high level spiritual beings, it could be quite dangerous territory to be boots on the ground, because you can lower your frequency so much that you could spiral out and not be able to get back out. Those timelines are going to carry on, and you can dip in and help someone that's really reaching and really trying and really focusing on bringing their energy up. But like the masses that are happening with these karmic debts that they're paying, those debts are going to continue to be paid, and those timelines are going to continue to finish. What's she saying?
I can't see the whole message of what you're
Oh, here, I'll bring it over here. It's right here. So we had some feedback here on that. What would you like to read?
My physical body may be tethered to a dialysis machine. The fire horse energy reminds me that my spirit cannot be contained. Ooh, riding the fire horse. No more riding the waves of before.
Yes, yes, yes. Call in that healing for the physical body. The thing about horses, and this is where I'm going to transition, I want to talk about our dharma, meaning that fulfilling our dharma encompasses all of the things that we do. But over these last 3 days, we have really come to a very clear understanding that we are here as a shamanic practitioner, as a master teacher, to help give tools and work in partnership to heal individuals and small groups within community, either in person or online. And all the other offerings that we do just simply support that work, because that is the deepest level work that we do. And it is extremely transformative. I mean, we see the impact that happens.
Yeah,
It's
just, it's beautiful. It's just really beautiful, and it's just such an honor to be able to participate in all of that space in that container, and to allow spirit to work through us, to provide the assistance needed, to provide the space that's needed for the individual to do the work for themselves, and to assist them
and
in that
give them the
process.
tools, because we're not
And permission. Sometimes people just need permission.
right. And locking arms, not just holding hands. We're locking arms. Like we're full on, like that freaking tidal wave is coming. We're locking arms. Like after the ceremony, when the woman that called in the sacred rage and cleared all that through her ancestral lineage, I said, give me your arms. Grab my forearms. Grab my forearms. Like we are locking in. We're not just like, here, let me hold your hand. If a tidal wave comes and you're holding someone's hand, they're going to be ripped down the river. But if you are locked in and full on, then you've got somebody. And this is how we do this deep, deep work. But there is only a handful of people that we can do this deep, deep work with. And so therefore, we have created a smorgasbord of tools that are available to the masses through our online teachings, our trainings, our courses, things like that, that people can tap into as they start to learn these tools. And we have this array of tools that have been given to us in this lifetime as master teachers, as we have remembered why we're here. And over the last several days, that dharma has been really, really clarified about what we're here to do. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I want to say that in this splitting that is occurring,
Like the duality?
the dualities, I see it as like Earth's as a cell that's splitting into two cells, and there's still like that point in which it's still like connected. It hasn't totally like separated into two whole cells yet. It's like pulling apart still. And so there's this crossover that is taking place where the bridge is still there. And
Yeah,
you know,
we're
there's a lot of
working
people
in
that are like came across the bridge,
Yeah.
are over here, and there are a lot of people that don't even know a bridge exists. And because they're staying, they want to be there. But there are those that are trying to attach themselves to
That's
the light
very true.
that is on this higher timeline that is attempting.
It's very attractive.
Because it can't reach the light on its own, so it finds a way to attach its energy to others that are in the light.
How many of you have experienced
from
those negative polarities attaching? Yes, absolutely. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have felt that vampiric energy, even if it's like a mosquito to a full-on vampire. Drop a 1. Yeah, everybody, unanimous.
Yeah.
As light workers right now, there is more necessity than ever to put your shields up, mirrors out. And we're going to teach you the Bedane Shield at the end of this training, and then we'll open the chat up and we'll end the call and open the chat up for those that are on live to have that interactive face-to-face time that we really are craving right now.
This is also why it is why the boots on the ground, like she was talking about, like there are, for example, there are homeless people all over the place, and we all have hearts that like there's a desire to assist in some way or another. And you know, the thing is, we can't all just go put ourselves in the middle of the homeless camp and try to help everyone. Now, community groups can go in and do that. We could participate in that on some level.
But there's a level of safety that's involved.
But there is
like there's a lot.
There's karmic parts to those puzzles that are present, and there are a lot of attachments within it. You know, I'm not saying don't go help the homeless, but I am saying pick and listen to the ones that you're being guided to versus the one that are your heart is just bleeding because people are in, you know, suffering or pain or struggles, right?
As an empath,
you know, on the stair steps, make sure you're only reaching down 1 or 2 steps to assist somebody up and not running down the stairs and trying to carry somebody up the stairs, right?
Or carry a whole community.
Or a whole community up the stairs.
Yeah,
you're just providing an assist.
Like
here, I can help you. Come up, boom, boom. Yeah. I have some teachings that can help you.
And there has to be a desire, and there also has to be an equal energy exchange. So it's, you know, a lot of
do they want to come up?
Do they even want to come up the stairs? Yeah. And the desire, and then the energy exchange is the fact that it's requiring a give and take for it to be sacred in sacred reciprocity. Because when something is in sacred reciprocity, whether it's a gift or an offering, there's a difference between an offering and a sacred reciprocity exchange. And so in that, you want to ensure that the energy is balanced. And this is the energy of Ma'at. You know, the Ma'at, she carries the feather, and she is the one that is going to balance the heart. The heart coherence needs to be as light as a feather in order to cross into the afterlife with Anubis. And she's going to balance that on the scales. And everything has to be in sacred reciprocity throughout this life, not just when we get to the end of our life. Otherwise, we're going to end up, you know, exhausted and drained. As an empath, many of you that are here are empaths, and you are very intuitive and you feel a lot of the collective energy. And so I was going to talk to you a lot all about shielding right now, because first of all, if you're going in and you're giving someone that leg up, you have to shield your own energy first so that it doesn't become entangled in your own energy. You're doing the work, but you're also shielding your own energy field. So that way you're going in kind of like with a lab coat on, is what they're telling me. You're putting your lab coat and your gloves and your goggles on, and then you're going in, you know, because there's a lot of attachments. You want to speak to that a little bit deeper, what that could show up like, and maybe some examples. Oh, like the vampiric energies that are coming in that are making themselves really apparent.
I mean, it could be anyone. It could be your mother. It could be a boss. It could be just a stranger on the street. You know, if we're not protecting our energy, then the thing is, we're not all completely healed, right? Like, we're perfectly perfect exactly where we are. We're continuing to grow. We're going to continue to, you know, work and grow ourselves and heal the bits and pieces, but, you know, 100% perfectly healed. I mean, that's like, okay, we've become the Buddha and ascended, you know.
Like we wouldn't be on his planet if
we wouldn't be on the planet anymore. So with that, there are always some piece of a wound, some piece of stagnation somewhere within our bodies, within our mindsets, within our belief systems. There's always something that's not totally right. And it's all perfect at the same time. But these are also the things that they hook into. They hook into the wound,
the weakest link,
the little kind of where some decay or something is stored in the being. And that's what they hook into and play upon. Now, this is not, I'm not saying that these people are completely conscious or aware that they are even doing this.
A lot of times they're pawns for this darker level energy to attach to the light.
And so when you're interacting with an individual and you get that just kind of,
It's like a hit. Yeah.
hook, or your energy feels drained, or you feel like your chest becomes heavy, or your throat becomes tight,
Or you can't talk anymore, or you can't formulate words.
Those people are trying to attach to your light, your light. And so that's
Yeah. So that's
that's
one
kind of
thing.
how it works.
Be aware of it. It is not superstition. It's not, woo woo. It's a real energy that is opposing, because as the light of our own humanity gets brighter, the shadow also gets darker, because it has to be in duality and balance. We are in a dual reality, which means everything is mirrored. Everything is mirrored exactly, but it's also distorted. And so mirrors don't mirror exactly, they distort. It's not the exact image. And so there is that reversal that happens, but the reversal of the light is the shadow. But the shadow also has a reversal of the light. And then it has another reversal of the shadow. And it goes on ad infinitum. One of my dear friends that owns the company Blue Bottle Love, where we utilize our blue bottles and everything for the shop, and we sell those. And she sent me a screenshot. You know how sometimes when you open up a Zoom window and then you open another window, and then all of a sudden it does that thing where it just puts like an infinite number of windows? How many of y'all seen that? Drop a 2 in the chat where you see that infinite like portal into the like windows. Yeah, it's crazy. And so that's really what the light and the shadow does. Light reflects the shadow reflects the light, reflects the shadow, reflects the light, and just goes on infinitely. And so we also must love the shadow. The only way to release those attachments from our being through personal experience, I do know, is that you have to love it. It only needs to be witnessed and seen, whether it's a spirit of alcoholism, drug addiction, any kind of distortion, abuse, trauma, sexual abuse. It has to be seen. And once we daylight that thing, then it also casts a shadow, but it will never be in the shadow again.
It's like if it's there and you're just like, get out of me, get off of me, and you're fighting it, you're trying to push it away, and you get angry at it,
it'll rise up.
It will match whatever that energy
that actually makes it grow. It gives it power, because you're playing racquetball with it.
Mm-hmm. And when you love it, it shrinks it, and it becomes this tiny, sweet little, so innocent, just to, it just wanted to be seen and heard, and it got meaner and stronger and louder, and it got abused, and so then it got swept under the rug, and it got meaner and stronger and louder, and then it became this thing in and of itself, where it was controlling the being, like alcoholism will do. And so when we love it, then it can actually return to from whence it came. We can release it from the being, but it does take some work. I'm going to get my key of life here. So the key of life is sometimes called the Ankh, A-N-K-H. And the key of life is a tool for helping to work with energy. And it's about the infinite loop of energy. So between earth and sky, sky and earth, this is working with the energy, rising it up, looping it around, bringing it back down. And so as we work with energy, we also have to realize that we're
clearing and moving things, and it has to have a place to go. We don't need to know the story. We don't need to know why it was there. We don't need to know where it's going to go when it leaves, but we're simply working with the tools within the energy work to help these attachments release from not only the personal physical body, the emotional body, the energy body, the bliss body, the wisdom body, and the bliss body. And so all the different bodies that we embody, those are the different densities of our particular vessel that we are embodied, our spirit's embodied in right now in this life. And those energies can attach in any of those areas. And so we go in surgically through tools and practices that have been done for who knows how long, eons, passed down.
Energetic surgery, to
Yes.
be clear.
Surgically remove in those energy bodies. And then she'll work also within the physical density, within body work and massage and trigger points and, you know, whatever.
And discussing what is held in those specific areas
So
to help
we
connect the dots.
Right, and a lot of soul coaching happens through that. But through that, we also are able to release it for our bloodline and for our lineage. And so all that to say, you know, finding if you're called to this sacred path is a huge revelation. If it's something that you are interested in doing, you can always send us a direct message and book a discovery chat, learn more about that. But I want to reiterate, like, working within that energy field and shielding is super, super important. And if you've noticed that there's things that have attached to you, is, you know, and you aren't feeling quite right, or you're feeling a little off, or you're noticing that you can't speak on a conference call anymore, or, you know, whenever you're around this certain particular energetic of this person, you get shut down, or you feel this stifling, or you feel nauseated, then very well could have an attachment there that is needing to be identified, especially if you don't know how to properly shield. You haven't had proper shamanic training or Reiki training to know how to work with energy, and you're just intuitively feeling it. And so collectively, many of us are intuitively feeling these things and we don't know what to do with it. So this is why it's super, super important to learn how to shield. And then if there's something already in your field, to learn how to clear it. That's a whole nother conversation. But what we want to do today is we want to work within the Bedane Shield. So I invite you to have a seat where you're sitting with your spine tall, and either get a cushion, you sit on a cushion, or sit on a pillow. I'm going to sit on my feet so if you can sit up with me to match my height. Just sit in the hero's pose. Okay. So I'm choosing to sit in hero's pose. You can also choose to tuck your toes under and sit in thunderbolt pose. And placing the hands on the thighs, having a nice tall spine between earth and sky, sky to earth, working with that energy of the prana and the apana. So the upward flow of energy is prana. The downward flow of energy is apana. So I invite you to have your seat. So take a moment here just to round. Nice long deep breath. And exhale. So we're going to call in a shield of protection. This is called the Bedane Shield. We're going to work first within the physical being, calling in a physical shield of light around our physical body in the color of red, to the front, to the back, to the left, to the right, above and below and within. Next, moving a few inches out, working within the energy body, calling in a shield. This shield's coming in as a gold from the front to the back, to the left, to the right, above and below and within. moving out about 4 feet from that into the emotional body. And this shield's coming in as a green shield, shielding it up from the front to the back, to the left, to the right, above and below and within. Moving out about 8 to 12 feet wider than that, moving into the wisdom body. This is coming in as a purple shield from the front to the back, to the left, to the right, above and below and within. And then expanding out up to 20 feet, up to 10 to 12 miles in more advanced practitioners. This is your bliss body, your energy body, coming in as a brilliant white light and shielding out the whole entire energy field around your whole entire being, from the front to the back, to the left, to the right, above and below and within. And then just outside of that, place a layer all around you, above, below, to the left, to the right. And this is a shield of double-sided mirrors. Whatever is not of your own energy will be reflected out and away. And whatever is within our own God self will be reflected within. So it is, and so it is, and so it is. And so the quickest version of that, shields up, mirrors out. So let's just say that together. Shields up, mirrors out. 2 more times. Shields up, mirrors out.
Mirrors out.
Shields up,
Shields up.
mirrors out.
Mirrors out.
So it is, so it is, so it is. Oh.
Highly recommend before going into the grocery store or any kind of 3-dimensional space that has lots of activity and humans interacting.
Yes. Wally Worlds particularly.
Yes.
Yes. The mall, the park. Yes.
Amusement park.
Anywhere where you're around a lot of
Any
energies.
public place.
But even just, just on the daily, make sure you call up, shields up, mirrors out, because we are in a spiritual warfare right now, y'all. And it's happening.
We have been for thousands of years.
We have been for
this.
This,
Gotten really intense.
the story is repeating. In now we've ended the Kali Yuga, which is a 25,000-year cycle. We're fully in the age of Aquarius. We're moving into this space of uncharted territory with moving into the highest timeline. And so, if anything, it can't hurt. You can't go wrong by shielding up. And we're going to fill ourselves with love and light. So on the daily, sun gazing, sitting by the water, working with your yoga, your breath work, making sure that you're committing every day to fill your cup and just really bring in that beautiful love from Father Sky above, from Mother Earth below, and really focusing on your daily practice. So that's all we got today. You have anything else to add here as we wrap this up today for our teaching? Oh, what I did want to say about the fire horse. So the thing about horses, this is like a little PS. We're in the fire horse. So that gives you the connotation that you're just going to jump on and just freaking ride to the sunset. That is not how it works. How many of you have worked with horses? Drop a little horse emoji or put the word horse in the chat. So if you know anything about horses, you're going to know that you can't just jump on a horse and ride to town. Unless it's your own horse and you've been attuned to that horse's energy, and that horse is, you fit in the saddle and everything is, your bridle's in and the bit is in and the everything's fit to you and you can just jump on. That's not how it works. We're on a new horse. Yeah, there's lots of y'all have worked with horses. Yes. And so when you're approaching a horse, the horse has a very large energy bubble. They know you're coming before you have even looked up from your phone. Okay? As soon as you get near a horse, you have to be 100% tuned in. 100%. And what happens if they don't? They're going to run off, right? They're going to run away and they're going to think something's going to eat them. They don't know who you are.
Oh my God, what's that?
Oh my God, there's a plastic bag on the ground, And so horses do not like someone to disrupt their energy field. You must merge with the horse's energy. And so we're coming into this merging of the fire horse. Just because it's a fire horse doesn't mean you are even allowed to ride. Right? First of all, you got to get, figure out how to groom the horse. Do you know how to pick the mud out of the hooves? Do you know how to groom? Do you know how to wash the horse? Do you know how to braid its mane? Do you know how to comb out its tail? Do you know how to, apply vetericin if they get a cut? Do you know how to care for the horse? Do you know how to properly tie a horse up? Do you know how to do some cowboy knots? Do you know how to do any of these things? So before we even start thinking we're going to ride, there's some super basic groundwork when you work with horses. Then they have to respect you. Do you know how to work with a horse in the round pen? Do you know how to lunge a horse? Do you know how to make it turn directions? I've worked with horses for years, but my favorite thing to do is work with them on the ground. So right now we're working with the horses on the ground. They are hoofed animals. They are earth-based animals. Any of the hoofed animals are space holders. They are holding down the freaking fort. They are here. They're present. They're very, very clear earth-based animals. So what did you say? Oh, frogging. Yeah, get the frog and pick the hooves. Exactly. So there's so many things that we have to do to take care of a horse. You have to feed them. You have to give them their supplements. You have to make sure they have clean water. You have to scrub the algae out of their trough. All the things. There's a lot of work that goes in before you can even ride. Then you're going to lunge the horse. You're going to lunge the horse the other way. You're going to let the horse run in the round pen. Then you can go ahead and get on. But you're also not going to immediately jump into a run. You might just be walking. You might come up to a trot. You might come back to a walk. When you're on the back of the horse, you're not going to look down at your phone. You're not going to look over here because then the horse is going to go over there. The horse is extremely intuitive. So when we enter their energy field, they have an oval shaped aura or bubble because they're oval. If you look at them from the top down, they're oval. So they have a very large oval energy bubble. And when we approach that energy bubble, we have to match. We have to tune down and tune in and calm our own energy to even approach this fire horse. Once we've done all the things, done the grooming, they're fed, they're watered, they have plenty of shelter, all the things. We've lunged them, we've worked them, we've played with them, we've exercised them, get on to ride. Learn to look between the ears. This is your compass. You're not going to take your eyes off of where the horse is looking, because if you look somewhere else, then your brain is going to go somewhere else and the horse is going to go somewhere else. So you have to keep looking right between their little ears. This is where they're looking, and they are prey, not predators. So their eyes face, out. So you have to be very clear on where you're looking, because that's your compass. And as we're riding this horse in this trajectory, we look off for just 1 degree for a couple minutes. Pretty soon we're 1,000 miles over here, completely off track. So this is what the horse is saying right now, is be very, very clear on your trajectory. Be very, very clear on your dharma. What are you here? What are you laser focused on? And why are you riding in this direction? If you don't really know, you have some deep soul journaling to do. If you are just showing up to a job that you hate, or you're in a relationship that you are completely disempowered, there is some work to do for you to change the trajectory of your life so you can be living in your highest purpose and your highest timeline and not settling. And this is what the fire horse is saying right now, is we are not here to settle. Once you get on and you get locked in, you can fucking ride. You can just slap that horse's booty and just go. But when you're riding really fast and you're galloping, you're going to get low. You're going to get low and you're going to come into the shape of the horse's body. You're going to, like if you see a jockey riding, they're low and they're letting their hips move with the horse. They're not gripping. You're not clenching. When you ride, if you're all super bouncy, the horse is like, just get off, You're actually, your pinky and your ring finger are they're not even on the reins. They're loose. You're holding it with this loose grip. You don't need to pull on the bit. There's no reason to do that. Or the bridle. There's no reason, because you're in one motion. You are clear on your objective. You're clear on what you told the horse. Yes, and you're just moving. And if you're galloping and you're moving and you're low, then the horse can't knock you off. You can't turn. If he takes a quick turn, it's only because you moved your body and you wanted to turn. So horses are animals that actually allow us to be on their back. We don't have a right to be on their back. They are sovereign, independent beings. But there's a whole thing that happens in Fort Worth every year, Fort Worth, Texas, and they have the training of the wild Mustangs. And they have like a whole year to do it. They catch a wild horse and they train it. But that takes respect from the animal. When I first got my first filly, she was wild. She was out in the field with her herd, and she was out with another bossy female. So she was like the docile female. And I fell in love with her from a distance. And I sat in the middle of the grass for hours and hours on end every day. And then I finally started bringing some treats. And I just sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there until she finally got curious and the herd just trusted me. And I had a horse that was in the herd. And so she began to be my friend. And I trained her. And I trained her in the Quentin Anderson method of breaking her on the ground. But you don't ever break their will. You break their, you don't ever break their spirit. You break their will, but you don't break their spirit. So when you work with the fire horse, remember, we are not breaking that spirit. We are working with it. And it's an honor to be able to sit on that fire horse's back. If you get the opportunity, you may not. You might be bucked off. You might be thrown off. You might be run into a barbed wire fence. You might be run into a tree. You might be run into a barrel. I mean, if they don't want you to ride, they will certainly get you off. But you have to have those skills. And so we are coming into this very new era of getting the skills of how to ride. And riding with fire is a whole nother level. My filly came with the name Diva, and she was fiery, and she did not want to be a rodeo horse. She just wanted to be free. And she was my heart horse. And so, they all have different spirits. So I want you to just be really aware that as we move into this year of a horse, it's a complete reset. It's a whole new cycle. And we're approaching it with softness. We're approaching it with gentleness. We're approaching it with respect. We're approaching it with attention. If you're just constantly distracted, there's no way you're going to get to build a relationship with your horse. So each and every one of us gets to ride that fire horse for this next year. And I can't wait to see, in the next year, if you've broken that horse, if that horse and you are one, if you can ride together. And we'll see what happens a year from now. But I'd love to hear any of your comments. Just drop them below. And if this video has helped you, please share it. I'm going to post it here on my YouTube channel. And then for those of you that are within our training, please stay on for our live Sangha chat. Thank you so much, everybody. Blessings to you. See you on the next video. Oh, I'm trying to. There we go. Babe, I can't get the button to click.